Hey guys, welcome back. This is Naresh. So today we will learn something important in Selenium, which is our Selenium architecture. This is one of the important topics which you should know. Even you are writing a one test case or writing 1000 test case, you should know about this architecture so that you should know in and out how the Selenium protocol works or how the Selenium APIs work. Okay, so let me show you a diagram of that. So this is a diagram for Selenium architecture. And in that you will see there are different components given. Let me explain you each component one by one. So if you see this component, which is Selenium client libraries, these are the client bindings, the jar files which we are also setting up in our project. So these are all the jar files. Okay, and the second component is the JSON protocol over HTTP. So it is a JSON write protocol through which this libraries are communicating with the server. This is a Selenium server, okay? And after that, there are the drivers. If you remember, in the code, we always give Chrome driver, Gecko driver, Firefox driver. So these are all the drivers, and this is our real browser, right? Like our Chrome browser, Firefox browser. And there is one more component, if you see, which is the REST API. So all these API are the REST API, and all this communication happen with the REST APIs. Okay, so what happened and how the Selenium works. So whenever we give any command, like in Eclipse, if we give any command, let me just draw it. Okay, so let's say this is my Eclipse, and here I have write some command like driver.get. Okay, so what happened? Driver.get command is something which is implemented here. All right. And what this Selenium do, it converts this command into the JSON format. Okay. Or you can say a JSON payload. Okay. So this convert this into a JSON payload. All right. And on this protocol, on the JSON protocol, this get command get communicated to the server. All right. Server communicate with my drivers. And then driver communicate with the real browser. Okay, let's say if I have given that driver.get, it's trying to open a website, then this Eclipse will interact with these libraries. These libraries will create a JSON format as a JSON payload, and this payload will goes to the Selenium server, and then server communicate with driver, driver communicate with my browser. And the same way it gives us a response also. So first it goes with this on the driver, and then it get communicated to the server, and by the use of this JSON protocol, it get communicated to my libraries, and from here my library give me either a success response, or if something here I am getting an error 500, let's assume, or error 400, then after reading this error it give me some kind of exception. Okay, so this is the simplest way we can explain to anybody how this Selenium architecture work. All right. So right now we have theoretical seen how the Selenium architecture work. Now we will see practically how it works. Okay. So if you remember, for running any program, okay, we have built path, and in that we have given certain libraries. Okay. And we have also given our server standalone. So what I'm doing right now, so I know that I already have a library, but I am running this standalone manually. And how will I do that? I will do a right click. If you remember, this is the server standalone which we have downloaded. If you have not downloaded, you can just go in the Google and type Selenium server standalone, and then you can download it. And this is the latest one because we are working on Selenium 3. Alright, so once you have done that, I'm doing a right click. Oops, okay, going back. I'm doing a right click, rename, Control C, and then I'm giving CMD at the top so that it can directly open a command prompt, and I am in C softwares, and to run this server I will type java dash jar space name of the file dot jar and hit on enter. if you see, it gives me a message that the server is running on the port 444. Okay, so there's the same server which we use when we are working and when we are doing operations on the grid. Okay, in the next video, I will tell you that how to work on grids, but right now I'm just trying to show you how the Selenium work internally, how the Selenium work at the backend side. So now I will try to access this server, and how will I do that? So I will go to my browser, I will type localhost because I'm running my server at my own desktop. So I have given localhost and then I've given the port number. And when I hit on enter, I get the screen. So it is running now. I can click on console. Okay. And now I will try to run the same command which I do through this command in the Eclipse. Okay, I will try to create a session first. If you remember, so when we say WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, so that's mean that I am creating a driver object, okay, and that is interacting with my Chrome driver. Okay, and if you see, we have set the path of the Chrome driver, so that is the work we have done when we have created a session with that standalone server. Okay, now what we do, the first command which we give is driver.get. Okay, so first we have to create a session for that. All right, before we open any URL, we have to create a session. So normally when you do it from the Eclipse, it doesn't automatically, but when we do it manually, I can show you how we can do that. We can just click on create session, and here we have to select Chrome. But before we select this Chrome and hit on OK, we have to make sure that the same thing what we have given in the path here, okay, the same Chrome driver should be there in the path where I have opened the server. Okay, so this is a Selenium standalone server and this is a Chrome drive. So I have already put my Chrome drive.exe into the same path so that it can recognize the Chrome driver. All right, so I'm checking Chrome here and clicking on OK. So it has opened the browser for us. All right, and if you see, it has given me a session. Okay, so it has created a session here. This is a session ID. If you want, we can just note it down, or we can, whenever we want to use it, we will just copy it. Okay, and in that, you will also see that there is some capability given. So these are all the capability in a JSON format. All right, so see, it has created a session, and these are all the capabilities set. All right. Now, before we go further, I just want to show you one documentation of the JSON format, which will help us to create this command manually. Okay. Let me go to google.com first, and here I am giving JSON wire protocol. Okay. Selenium. All right. And I'm going on the first link. So this is a complete documentation of JSON wire protocol. If you see, it will give you all the details of JSON wire protocol, but what we are interested right now in these commands. Okay, so all the commands which we give from our Eclipse, okay, those commands get converted into the JSON format, and through these APIs, okay, through these APIs, we call the server. Okay, so these are all the one which are given. If you see here, there are different APIs given. Okay, let me type the command through which we are opening some website. Okay, so in the command, you will see there's an API called session ID URL. It says retrieve the URL and navigate to new URL. So that's mean whenever we give driver.get URL, it actually internally gives this through this API. It try to call the URL and it try to open a browser. It try to open a web page for us. Okay. Now, what we can do here, because now the session has already been created for us, there is one software called Postman, so we have to open that up. If you don't have this Postman software, you can even download it, and there is even an extension on the Chrome, okay, through which you can use the Postman. So I have already downloaded it. If you have not downloaded the Postman software, you can just Google it and just type here download Postman. Download Postman. Okay, you can download from here. All right. So what this software do? This is a software through which we can access the APIs. We can access the different APIs. Okay. So this is software is already there on my computer. Then what I can do, I can go back. Let me just close this up. Okay, I can see there's a command called session ID URL. So I need to give a session ID, then I have to give the ID number, and then I can type the URL. And once I do that, I should be able to open the website. So if you know, when I have given a session here, it has given me one session ID, right? And my session ID is on my local host. So what I can do, I can just copy this part, localhost port number WB and hub. I can paste it here as a URL. All right. And if I go into this command, it says it is a get command. So I have given get. It is not a post. Okay. And it says I have to give the session here. Okay. So what I will do, whatever session was there, I can just copy this. I can give a session here. Okay, and if I go into that, it says to give the URL. It retrieve the URL, or if I give the URL, it will navigate to the new URL. Okay, and I'm sorry, I have said get, but it is post. So if you want to navigate to new URL, it should be post. Okay, so I have given post here. All right, now if I click on this, it will give me a detail that there are the URL parameters which I need to give, and that parameter would be a string. Okay, so these are something which I need to give. So I need to give some parameters also. And how I pass this parameter, if you I go back, or maybe you can see here only. Okay, so this is the session which I have just written here that URL of my local host. Okay, and then I need to give a command session, and then I need to give a command of session ID. So I have to give this command which we are missing in our URL. So just let me just remove this up. So after this, I need to give this command session, and then I need to give my session ID. Okay, so our session ID is this one. All right, and once I have given the session ID, I need to give URL here. So it would be URL. Okay, so when there is a colon, it means that it is a variable and we need to give a value. But when there is no colon, it means that we have to just type it whatever is given here. Okay, now if you read it, it says that URL parameters, I need to give some parameters. Okay, and that parameter would be a string. It says JSON parameters, URL is string, and the URL to navigate to. So what I will do, I will go to the body and I will click on raw, and here I can give the parameter inside this box. Okay, so it is URL. So I will type URL. Okay, and then it says that I need to give the actual URL. So I will give equal to, and here I can give https www.google.com. Okay, so I have given this URL, and let's see. Let me click on send button. Okay, it says there's missing something. Let me just check. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm trying to open the google.com website. All right, If you see my Chrome browser, it has opened me a google.com website now. Okay, and it give me the status 200. Okay, so that's mean whatever I have given here, all right, with this parameter, I am able to open it. So right now I have done it manually. I am trying to call this API. Okay, I'm trying to call this API and I am giving this URL because manually. But what happened when the Selenium work in Eclipse from here, whenever we are giving this driver.get, it get converted into this. Okay, it get converted into this URL, and after that it hit that on the server, and the server gave a response that it is, status is okay or not, and according to that it can open the browser for you. So this is the way through which the Selenium interact with the server. If you want from your side, you can even go to different commands and you can try to open it and you can try to see if those commands are working or not. For example, there's a refresh command given here and it says that after session you have to give session ID and then you just have to call refresh. Okay, so let me do one thing. Instead of giving this, instead of giving URL, let me give refresh. And if we see if it's get or post under refresh, refresh is also the post and it refresh the current page and we don't have to give anything else. I don't have to give the parameter, so I will just remove these parameters. Okay, and this is post and let me try to run it. Now again the status is okay and it has refreshed the page. Okay, so this is the way the Selenium interact with the servers. I can show you that again. So this is the way whenever we type any command in our Eclipse, it get convert into the JSON format like this I have shown you. Okay, it convert into that format and get interact with the Selenium server. Selenium server interact with the driver, driver interact with the browser, and according to that it give us a response that is either it is 200 like this or it should be something like a 500 so that I can get an exception from here. All right. So this is the complete architecture of Selenium. You just have to make sure how the Selenium works internally. And if you want, you can just download this Postman, which I have shown you, and you can just open this page of GitHub, which was the first link when we have typed JSON wire protocol, and try to run all these commands. And I'm very sure you would be able to run all these commands. And if I show you in Eclipse, if we say driver.get, let me go inside this get. Okay, let me open this implementation. We will see how these commands are getting converted into JSON format. So it will give you a better idea. Okay, I'm going to remote WebDriver. See, what happened whenever you give the URL, it try to call a method called execute and it gives the command driver command dot get. Okay, and if you try to see this, what is there? So this is nothing but a constant and it is giving a command get here. Okay, the same way we have called refresh, it is giving a command refresh here. Okay, let's see this one. uh, Let me type refresh. Okay, so this is the refresh command. So this the same refresh command which we can see here in our driver command class. Okay, so let me just go back and let me show that what does execute do. So what this execute do, it create a command object and then it create an empty response. Okay, and after that it tries to hit the server and get the response. So let me just show you one more thing here. So if you see here, it's getting a current name, it is getting a thread, and after that, this is the main command. If you see, it is executing the command and it is expecting a response from the server. And according to response, it will show you the exceptions. Okay, so this is the way how the Selenium architecture works. So just making sure if somebody asks you that what is a Selenium architecture, you explain the same things which I have told you. It will give the confidence to that person also that you know something about Selenium, and it will give you also confidence that whenever you are typing any command, what is happening at the background. So just increase your knowledge for Selenium so that you can build, a good automation suite for your company in your project. All right. So if you like the video, please hit on the like button and subscribe. And if you don't like the video, please dislike the video and let me know that what are the new things you want to learn. All right. Thank you for watching.